My name is Fatma Tozara and today I will be presenting on ecoplanar imaging. Ecoplanar imaging is the fastest imaging technique we use today for research and for clinical applications. So, an ecoplanar imaging is an imaging sequence. An MRI sequence is a number of radio frequency pulses and gradient fields Z in a set of images with particular appearance and contrast. So, a pulse sequence is generally defined by multiple parameters including time of echo, time of repetition, flip angle, crushers, inversion recovery, etc. Different combination of these parameters affect tissue contrast and spatial resolution. Now, from the day we have started to use MRI, we want to acquire the images as fast as possible. So we move from single slice to multiple slice, from GRASS to turbospin and then now we have the fastest imaging technique known as EPI. In ecoplanar sequence, we apply a single excitation pulse. After this selective excitation pulse, we apply phase encoding gradient pulse, which is very strong, and then we apply small dips of these phase encoding pulse along with the readout in first in positive direction and then in negative direction, and acquire the whole K-space data in a single shot or in multiple shots. In conventional imaging, each line of K-space is acquired separately after each excitation pulse, but in EPI, K-space lines are continuously acquired as shown in this figure. So, due to this technique, ecoplanar imaging is now the fastest MRI technique that allows acquisition of single images in as little as 2 milliseconds. But in EPI, we have a small problem that it is very prone to T2 star effect, because we are acquiring our gradient echo, but we have to acquire the whole K-space data after a single excitation pulse. But if our signal decays more rapidly, then we will not get a proper signal, but we have more noise in that, and our resolution drops. There are two types of EPI. One is single shot EPI and the other is multi-shot EPI. In single shot EPI, entire 2D K-space data needed for image reconstruction obtained using an echo train generated by a single excitation pulse. But in multi-shot EPI, a fraction of K-space needed to reconstruct the image is obtained with each echo train. So in this image, we are seeing single shot EPI and its comparison with multi-shot EPI. As we can see from here, that there is image geometric distortion in this image, which we have taken from a single shot EPI. And as we move from multi-shot EPI, as the shots increases, we see that the geometric distortion decreases. Similar thing has shown in this image, that in a single shot EPI, we have an image which has a very poor resolution, but as we move toward the multi-shot EPI, and as the shots increases, our resolution and the quality of image also is getting better. So EPI is a very demanding pulse sequence that requires high performance gradients, high peak amplitudes, high receiver bandwidth, large amount of power, low eddy currents, etc. So the resolution in EPI is not very good, because to increase the resolution we have to increase the gradient amplitude, but our system is already working on its limits, and we have to increase the gradient duration or both. So in normal images of EPI, the resolution is not good. So to increase the resolution, we move for the multi-shot EPI, or we gather our data in the right half and then use the conjugate symmetry property of K-space, and we reconstruct our image by calculating the left half of the K-space data. So EPI has one disadvantage, that it is very prone to different artifacts like Nyquist ghost, chemical shift, image distortion and image blurring. I will discuss each of these artifacts in detail. So this is an interesting thing in EPI, that the Nyquist ghost artifact is in the phase encoding direction. This is mainly due to the gradient eddy currents, imperfect pulse sequence, V0 inhomogeneity, hysteresis, etc. If we want to correct this artifact, we have to design our gradient coils very critically with low eddy currents, and the calibration is very necessary for the coils. The chemical shift artifact is also be seen in this EPI imaging technique. It is because of very low bandwidth, and also the image distortion artifact is also because of the low bandwidth. To correct this chemical shift artifact, we have to suppress the signal from the fat. We have various techniques to suppress the signal of fat from our imaging, from our MRI images. To correct the image distortion artifact, we have to measure the magnetic field of body part we want to image, and then a correction of MRI images to shift the signal to its correct location by using simple calculations. As we are getting our whole space data in one shot, so in this sequence, as I have told earlier, that it's very prone to T2 star decay. The more our signal decays, the more we have this blurring artifact in our image. So to correct this artifact, we have to shorten interspacing delta of k-space, or reduce the echo train length, or again use the multi-shot EPI. So here are some advantages of EPI. It reduces the imaging time, decrease motion artifact. It is highly efficient with high SNR, and we can see a large range of contrast behavior in EPI by using different excitation pulses and different gradients. We can get a large variety of contrast. Like if we use gradient EPI or spin echo EPI or inversion recovery EPI or diffusion weighted EPI images. Here are some disadvantages of EPI. It is very sensitive to susceptibility effects, and it is very prone to artifacts. Moreover, the hardware requirements are very critical, and we have to make long gradient echo train, so that causes greater T2 star weighting, and it requires high performance gradient coils, etc. EPI is now widely used in cardiac images, brain images, abdominal imaging, diffusion imaging, perfusion imaging, functional imaging. It's very much in use for research and also for the clinical applications. We can easily detect the cerebral artery interfact from the diffusion and perfusion weighted image of EPI, as it is shown here that this is the large right middle cerebral artery interfact in a 61-year-old woman, and this is the axial diffusion weighted image, and this is perfusion weighted image, and we can see the interfact clearly here. So for my project, I simulated the block equation, and this is my I observed the MXY decay, or the decay of T to star decay here, and the longitudinal component is recovering. And I simulated the EPI, I applied the EPI pulse sequence, and I simulated the brain imaging method using MRI lab software. And this is a multi-shot. I used 4 shots here, and I got this image, but this is very blurred. And by using the spiral trajectory k-space data, I got this image. This is better, but making the spiral trajectory is really long and takes a lot of time. So, in the end, ecoplanar imaging is the fast and more simple approach for imaging method. It's a very challenging method because it requires the hardware demands are very critical, and our system is working on its limit due to very short rise time and very high gradient currents. So moreover, this imaging technique is very prone to different artifacts, and we can see Nyquist ghost artifact and chemical shift artifact in normal EPI pulse sequence. So we have to make to get a better images from EPI sequence. We have to make our hardware even more better. So this is from my side. Thank you so much.